careful with our wording. Zimbabweans are educated, Zimbabweans are skilled, South Africans are skilled, South Africans are educated. It's just that for the past 20 years, Zimbabwean education system has went down slightly. Zimbabweans are number eight in Africa when it comes to literacy rate. So even if Zimbabwe is still worse, they still managed to obtain number 8, which is not worse. We've got 54 countries on the continent. South Africa is second most educated people in Africa and most skilled. But pre-1994 was not the same, right? So it's all economy and government, So a working government, a working economy will produce skilled people. So the current South Africa has got more skilled South Africans than any country in Africa, if you look at stats. But that's not my point. I don't want to be addressing those petty things. The point is, my brother, as a South African, I understand where Zimbabwe is standing. I understand that you guys do need jobs in part of South Africa as well, because practically speaking, economy of Zimbabwe it needs help. And the fact that the southern region hasn't done anything in the past 15 years in terms of not just allowing Zimbabweans to come in their countries, because that's not the help that Zimbabwe needs. We have to talk about liberating the economy of Zimbabwe. Allowing Zimbabwe in our countries is no longer the help that Zimbabwe needs. That's not a practical solution. So we need to move away from these petty talks, who's more skilled, who's more educated, and address the elephant in the room.
And the elephant in the house. That is the most important thing. That is the most important. When I started this video, when the earlier times I started it, I said, we might start fighting, killing each other in this, but there is a bigger problem here that we need to all agree and face.
Yeah, we have to agree on that.
Up until the economy of Zimbabwe is back and running, even if we put electrical fence, they're gonna still find a way to come in, because when people want to eat, you're not gonna stop them. You get that's the practical solution. Is South Africa has got large corporations in Africa. Look at how much we have invested in Nigeria alone. South Africa, annually, we put more than 1 billion in South African companies. In Nigeria, we've got more than 120 companies there, right? How do we lift the economy of Zimbabwe? That's where we must be looking, because if our corporations can expand more in Zimbabwe, that means more jobs for Zimbabweans, right? Because this is what was there in Zimbabwe before the land ownership. They destroyed Zimbabwe by sanctioning Zimbabwe, but not only that, they blocked the trade. They stopped the corporations to function there, and that's destroying the labor. That's why now the Zimbabweans are running to South Africa. So if we can lift the labor force in Zimbabwe, that means most Zimbabweans don't even want to be in South Africa. Everybody loves their country. Everybody loves the place of their birth. You want to see those trees you grew up seeing in Zimbabwe. You want to see those mountains, the rivers. People miss that, but they are forced to be here. And South Africa is becoming more hostile. It's becoming more hostile because we are forced now to carry the burden of Africa, because African governments, including mine, are not doing their job.
Yeah, that's
anyway,
true.
So I think you are aware that next year, 2023, Zimbabwe is going to be having their presidential elections. And, we have this thing of thinking, change of government. Change of government will make things better or what. But I want to bring it to you, and I want to bring it on the table. Do you think with the situation that is happening right now, if there's any change whatsoever to come into Zimbabwe, can it turn things around?
I don't see ZANU-PF letting go of power that easily. And I think the answer lies in South Africa, Botswana, and Namibia, and Angola. These are powerful countries in the south. So either could be in the AU or in the SADC. They need to decide very soon what's the future of us as Africans. Fuck the Western influence, right? Because I believe the Western influence is what holding South Africa from releasing the potential of Zimbabwe, right? We need to stand as Africans and say, we put in our hands on the table. Zimbabwean economy needs to be lifted, because this is affecting everyone. You know, the Zimbabweans have held on for so many years. It's time Zimbabwe needs to be lifted. And I don't see ZANU-PF taking Zimbabwe in the next revolution, just like ANC. I don't see ANC taking South Africa in the next step, right? We need to make sure that ZANU-PF used to cheat the elections, and South Africa was aware, as Botswana and Namibia, and they did fuck all. Today, these leaders are trying to cry that we've got issue of Zimbabweans crossing, but they did nothing when ZANU-PF was bullying the Zimbabweans. Wasn't it South Africa during apartheid that we cried and asked for help from other international countries to assist us in fighting the regime government? Can we not say ZANU-PF is like a regime government? Then we use the same approach to lift the people of Zimbabwe. Because if ZANU-PF is in power but millions of Zimbabweans are running from Zimbabwe, there's a problem. And the problem is the government. So that government needs to leave so that the new government can be able to negotiate with other international corporations and other global power playing countries. Because this is the thing. People always say Mandela sold out. Here's what's happening in the world. We as Africans are not yet organized. We got other Western countries controlling the trade and everything. Zimbabwe still needs to let go of their pride, go sit on the table and negotiate, because these people control power at the end of the day, whether you like it or not. That move of chasing the whites there, it's just it's a tip of an iceberg, right? These people own the world. So when people have got power beyond you, you need to learn to sit down with your enemy and negotiate, which is what Mandela did. Zimbabweans, the government of Zimbabwe need to start making moves, especially the new government that might come in power. They need to have a different approach, understand the current world we live in, learn to negotiate, build your generation, and one day maybe you might completely liberate yourself, your people. But you're not going to liberate them in poverty. Trust me, that's just a recipe for disaster.
But anyway, let's look at what happened in Malawi. We saw that in Malawi, people had the same belief that when we change the government, things are going to be okay. Things will start to work well for the country. But now we have seen again the similar issue coming out where people are complaining now. People are saying the government is not doing enough. We even saw, President Chakwera, dissolving, everybody. Okay. So my thing is it anything to do with the change of government or just the approach? And also we are seeing the similar thing almost happening in Zambia right now. The new government is in, okay, the old one is gone. But still people are saying we are not seeing any changes. We are still in poverty. We still don't have jobs. Hey, this is Africa. If you want to join the lesson, I've just put in the link so that you can join in there. Hey, Botha, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
You're following?
Yeah. When it comes to, I think Zambia, for me, I think it's too early for we to say that that guy is failing. I think he's still making his cabinet in order. You can see he's firing some ministers, those who are not working, he's firing them. So I think let's give him another 2 years or a year. But Zimbabwe,
if you are hungry, you don't have 2 years if you are hungry, 2 years is too long.
But when it comes to Zimbabwe, yes, we need a change in Zimbabwe. We need to try something new, because those guys, they only tell us all about they go to war, and the likes, and we are also fighting our own war at our generation. We need to liberate ourselves, and then we really need help from countries like South Africa. If I can say, maybe Cyril Ramaphosa is letting us down. I think he needs to negotiate with the Zimbabwean government. I think we see Thabo Mbeki when he was in power, and which is the thing that makes him South African to say he must step down. I think he was trying something. But then South African, then they say, no, now we are wasting time negotiating with Zimbabwe. We are leaving South Africa here, going to Zimbabwe, then they chase him away.
Okay,
But
so
still,
one sister,
Ramaphosa must play a role.
okay. Let
Yeah,
me
you
read
can
a
go
comment
ahead.
from one sister. She says, what Zimbabwe and Africa as a whole needs is not negotiating with a system that disenfranchised us. We need new systems that are controlled by and work for Africa. Western systems were never for us.
Okay, can I address that approach?
Okay, go ahead, please.
Look, we live in a world where now it's called a global village. Whether we like it or not, the West control the global trade. We can work towards isolating Africa if we can speak the same language as Africans. I'm talking about at the government level, where these guys can agree at AU and say we're not doing this and that. The problem is each and every African country behave as an individual. That's the problem we have now, and that's why we are forced to still go back and negotiate with our enemies in terms of the corporations they believe in, the corporations that they bring here, the type of laws that we must pass. Because if you look at even South Africa, it's running on international laws. These are not actually laws that are at the major part that influence South Africa. These are not laws but that are passed by ANC. I don't believe that. And if we say, I don't really believe that South Africa is just not doing anything about Zimbabwean situation. There's like external forces here that are involved, and these are powerful countries that are telling South Africa that if you even dare do this, it's gonna play like this. Look, for example, how Putin forced himself on Ukraine, because Russia can do that because Russia is powerful as well, right? But they were trying to dictate to Putin what he must do. So think about a poor country like South Africa, and we're trying to make certain moves in Zimbabwe. Do you think they're going to allow us? First of all, they're the ones who sanctioned Zimbabwe. They sanctioned Zimbabwe because they wanted to cripple Zimbabwe. You think now they're going to sit and fold their arms and watch South Africa trying to bring Zimbabwe back to life? We can do that if the entire Africa was behind us. Now, the entire Africa is not united. If South Africa makes those moves alone, they're going to come for us as well. And you know what happens when they come for you. So we need to be careful with what we do. Even the southern region is not one. The western region is not one. Central region is not one. DRC is still fighting to join the eastern region. Imagine at this age, we are still fighting to join each other, where we were supposed to really be speaking one language. Why are we allowing the rebels to do that in DRC? Why are we allowing Boko Haram in Nigeria? Ethiopia has been attacked with Somalia by the Western. No country in Africa is doing anything. Egypt is so-called, their military is the most powerful in Africa, but are they saving Africa or they saving the Middle East and America? So we need to understand the moment you start to think that Zimbabwe, it's an island with South Africa, we can just do this and this, you're missing the bigger picture. There's external forces here that are involved, bigger countries that influence the global economy. And that's what happened with Zimbabwe. When Mugabe miscalculated his calculations, you saw what happened. We all saw that. When Gaddafi miscalculated his calculations, we saw what happened. Every African leader, when they miscalculate one step, they just need that one step, one excuse, they fuck you up, and your generations are gonna suffer for the coming 50 years or 100 years.
Yeah. So another person wrote, I think the African mind is the problem. The African mind needs to liberate themselves first. Every people deserve the kind of government they have because government comes from the people.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually true. You see, that point is so much true because what I've seen with most African mindsets, at least I'll say outside South Africa, they put the government first. They believe the government will be the solution. You see, in South Africa, when the government doesn't do anything, we take the next thing is we are on the streets. And I think it's because during apartheid, we were so oppressed that we learned to fight even when they're going to shoot us. So I think most Africans, they are scared to be shot. Once you can show your government that you are ready to sacrifice your life, that alone, you've got nothing to lose, right? You take it to the street. The government of South Africa knows us. If they don't comply, if it goes to the streets, the whole country will burn. And that's what you must make your government know, that it must be clear that if things don't go, the people must govern the country, not the government governing everyone. The people shall govern. That's what's happening. That was if we're going to take down ZANU-PF, even the people themselves have to rise. They have to rise above the bullets. You're gonna have to take a bullet for the next generation. Then what happens sometimes for liberation? You're gonna have to put your mind, says forget about the world of today and put yourself at the front and take a bullet. I don't know. That's what happened with our parents.
Yeah, we do try to take some bullets, but SADC, man, they don't get involved. If you see our last elections, how many people were killed after election? But then our SADC leaders, they were just being biased, supporting their ZANU-PF brother, you see. So,
but we go back to what I'm saying. Do you think these guys are really in charge to even help Zimbabwe? Don't you think there's other external forces involved?
They are.
Like look at Botswana. We've got we've got the USA military camp there in Botswana. What are they fucking doing there? What are they observing? You see, at which interest they there? So we need to understand that our leaders are puppet leaders. You know, they only, I mean, you have to, that we go back to what I said. The Western controlled the global trade. With that alone, at some point you're gonna have to learn to negotiate with them, lift your generation in terms of education, living standards, and advancement. At some point you might make moves, and I think that's how Mandela approached the whole thing. Mandela knew that he didn't totally liberate South Africa, but he had to sacrifice for like a generational cause, the generational aim, because once the enemy is that powerful, it's like a suicide. If you go to war, it's like those 300 Spartacus who were facing the 64,000 Persian